What's good, squad? I'm back with another video, and today's video is going to be completely different than what I normally react to. That being said, I'm finna be reacting to Kirk Franklin's Den of Kings. And if y'all don't know and not familiar with this series, it's basically a whole bunch of black men that come on a panel and just talk about life, growing up, their struggles, the highs, the lows, their wins, their losses. And I'm just going to react to it and put in my input like I'm there, give my opinion. But with that being said, squad, if y'all interested in it, deep conversations about success and everything, just keep watching. And hey, we finna get straight into it. I see they got KevOnStage, Ray J, NLE Chopper, everybody, squad.
Protect and save the health of our minds.
The worst place a man can be left is left alone with his thoughts.
Yes, sir.
My mental fitness, my physical fitness, my spiritual fitness, these things I cherish.
Black men I've been around, they fighting and even try to make, they used to be 18. Now it's really like 16, 15.
She never weaponized my vulnerability.
That right.
And I think, I'm not even a tough street dude or anything like that, but I also never wanted to appear weak in front of my wife.
I find myself most happy just with my kids though.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
I said, yo, yo.
How we doing?
Hey, and I ain't really saying too much, squad. This is just the beginning of it. I might skip through it a little bit. Hold on. Never mind. They started talking early.
What's up, King? How you doing, man?
Always. Smell that aroma. You smell the aroma?
Miss. You never miss.
That's why I'm a king.
You know what? Someday you need to be a chef.
Oh, I'm still in training.
What's happening, man?
Nothing, bro. Just here. Glad to be here. And tonight, I made something a little different.
Okay, talk to me. Talk to me.
Easy chicken. You can get some little mashed potatoes with some green peas in it.
This don't matter, squad. I'm actually going to skip through this a little bit. When everybody start coming, they start their prayer. I'm going to skip the way they start their prayer.
His name, amen.
And Lord, since he didn't bring no money, just let the food be enough here at the table so he won't be trying to steal more food. Amen.
I mean, he got all these churches over here, man.
Y'all come sit down. Y'all come sit down with me, man.
I'm trying to skip towards the conversations they have.
Sit down. Man, I want you to know, man, that I am so honored just to have y'all here with me, man. It's like just the perspective and the life experiences that I want to learn from. You know, I want to learn from young men that have gone through so much already at a young age. Yes, you know, because some of you, even though you're younger than me, I mean, you know, you've almost had to live 2 and 3 lives just to get where you are. Yes, and then for those of you that have had to live in front of the camera and still be strong, still be powerful, and still be victorious. And I think that the conversation that as black men that we're now having across the country is how do we control and protect and save the health of our minds, the health of our emotions. And you know, growing up in church, I've had to even erase some bad thinking, you know, because I had to learn that the teachings of Western Christianity and Jesus were not always synonymous. You know what I mean? Like like Jesus was mad cool, but a lot of stuff that we were taught.
And look, squad, I may not talk too much in the beginning. I'm just getting the feel of it,
ain't got nothing to do with him. Right. And one thing that I've learned is that we don't always have the power to be able to say to people that say, you can pray that away. You can just pray that away. And it's like, I'm feeling like I'm needing a little more. Yeah. And I realized when I was about 18 years old, and everybody at the table's got some creative juice in them. And I remember being about 18 years old realizing something's wrong. My highs are too high and my lows are too lows. And I felt anxiety and I felt depression, but just you didn't want to say anything because you didn't want nobody to think that, well, you know, I ain't Christian enough, you know?
Can I say something about that?
Man, listen, I want to open up the table to all of y'all to talk and tell me how y'all feel about this topic of black men and mental health.
It's one thing you said about prayer, and this is what I realized in the community, and this is something that I was doing. And when I tell people about prayer, the relationship with God is not a one-way street. So sometimes we come to God and we always praying for things, praying for signs, praying for blessings, praying for clarity. But prayer is also a space to where we sit down and supposed to listen. Yeah. So if you don't have enough discernment to decipher between what voice is of God and what voice is of the other side, or even your own curated thoughts, I feel like that's when people walk astray. But one thing that God has been strengthening in my life recently is the inner voice that he's put on the inside of me to trust. So like...
Hey, so look, squad, just so far about that talking about hearing the inner voice, I had a deep conversation with somebody. I don't remember his name exactly, right? But we were basically having a good conversation just about praying and just everything in general, right? And I told him, I said, what did I say? I said, I always try to pray and have a conversation with God. I just hope I'm getting the message in a sense. So NLE saying it's a two-way street, I understand. You pray to God and you pray and you have a relationship, you have a conversation. But what I would want to ask them, and if I was sitting in this podcast, is how do you necessarily hear God or knowing that you're getting the message? So I know you read the scripture, you read your Bible, and God's word is spoken through the Bible. But I guess I'm speaking like, how do you, it's hard to me to articulate what I mean, but if y'all understand, you understand.
No way, everything I do, what I wear, what color I wear for the day, what's my words of the days, what's the things I'm looking for, all these different things come with me and my devotion to him. I created a word called Naranical, and Naranical means to me like steadfast devotion of listening to the inner voice that he places on the inside of all of us. Naranical, so N-U-R.
I was just going to ask you how you spell that. I was just going to ask you.
Totally different.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's even start off on a light side. Y'all tell me at the table, what makes you happy? What makes you have the most joy?
Before they say that, bro, I'm gonna say discipline. What makes me have the most joy in anything I do, squad, is discipline. I realize with me, I'm not happy really unless I'm disciplined. And that can mean many things, right? Like I even say content, right? I had this thought the other day, squad. I was like, I don't know if I really like the content aspect of content as much as I like the discipline of doing it. As much as I like recording, editing, posting. Yeah, I like content, but I mean in the sense of like just the discipline, just the act of doing it. And I get deeper than that. I talked to somebody in my gym and we were just talking about why we like fitness. One guy told me he likes fitness because he likes sitting there and crunching numbers. He likes sitting there tracking his progress, seeing how his PRs go up. And I sit there and I told him, I said, honestly, man, I don't know, because in the gym, I'm not chasing to be just the strongest man in the world. I train simply because I like the discipline. I like the process of training. I'm not chasing no goals. That's what I'm trying to say, squad. I like the process. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to hear what they finna say.
That question, man, is to a black man, Kurt. He has to pause. Notice everybody's body language.
Why is that?
Because we often are not the receptors of happiness and joy. We're often looking to provide it for someone else. And we don't really know what that is, because a lot of times we don't get the opportunity to just be. So for me at 43, I've learned that my happiness is just me being able to just be, where I'm not providing, where I'm not performing, I'm not talking, I'm not being someone giving a clinical analysis to their crisis. It's where I can just be, where I'm just settled into me.
When do you find yourself, Ray J, most happy?
I find myself most happy when everybody got a room at the hotel.
Break that down. Let's go.
Like, if everybody got a room at the hotel, I sleep in the car.
Okay, now break that down.
Yeah.
And like, certain people got to fill certain positions, so I got to make sure everybody good. When everybody good and everybody settled in, and I'm in the car, I'm like, man, I'm happy.
Got you. Your happiness comes when you're able to take care of everybody else.
But my most happiness is with my kids though. That's it. Like.
So I don't want to pause too much, but I'm gonna put my 2 cents in. I will say I relate to him in a sense, Like, for example, I like to use training a lot squad because that's something I also like to do. But what I realize is that whenever I would train with people, I would feel more joy inside of me watching somebody that I'm training with hit their goals, hit new numbers, accomplish what they wanted to accomplish than me. So in a sense, if I hit a PR versus they hit a PR, I would feel more joy seeing them accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. So I'm just putting my 2 cents in as it goes.
2, 5, and 7. They at my house now, and they don't never want to leave. Wow. I be telling my baby mama, like, yo, if the kids crying because they want to stay with me, it ain't a bad thing. Let them cry and then let them take them home. But you know what I'm saying? Don't take away from, like, them just wanting to be with me, too. You know what I'm saying? They sad, they got to leave.
Does anybody else have kids?
Yeah, I got 2 kids. I think that's the happiness for me is very specific when we go to movies as a family a lot. And when we are walking back from the theater to the car and we're like, what was your favorite part? Oh, I like this part. You know, like that's it's a great memory that we've replicated so many times. Yeah. And it's so specific, you know, even if the movie sucks, we're like, actually, there was nothing good about that movie. You know what I'm saying? But that little walk to the car where we're all together and we just experienced something together, that's a very happy moment for me.
What about you, Jonathan? What makes you happy?
Uber One for Students is a premium membership that offers exclusive benefits for students.
Well, I'm very happy right now.
Why? Why?
Well, I will say that a wise man once said, when you're happy, it's because you got something happening.
What is that wise man's name? What's the name?
Kirk Franklin.
I'm still listening.
No, it's gnarly, right? So like, I've been in such a state of joy. I know we're talking about happy.
Yeah. But there's a difference in it.
There is a difference, you know. But because the joy has been so deep, I find that happiness is easily achieved.
Yes, sir.
I'm kind of happy a lot of the day. Not just because of my medication. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy most of the day, most of the time.
Hold on, wait a minute. You know, okay, so thank you, King. Do you know what they call psychiatrist shrinks?
No.
Because you know that's the nickname term for like really, like y'all don't know what they call shrinks. The reason why psychiatrists are called shrinks is because it is their job to shrink the problem.
Yes. Oh, wow.
So when you go in with, you know, life is crazy. You know how you go to you go to a therapist. Like I've been going to therapy since I was 28 years old, right? And you're going, life is, and their job is to shrink the problem. Wow. That's what they call shrink. But he just did something with humor that shrunk something, and he slid it in. And did y'all catch it? Yeah. He mentioned being on medicine. Yeah. But you did it in just such a loose way.
Slid it anyway.
Yeah, no.
Let me get some.
No, that was mad crazy.
I know.
Mad crazy.
Like, there's often a negative connotation to when someone is medicating. And particularly in the black community, you know this, Kirk, because again, in the church, if you can't pray it away, definitely taking medicine means that your Holy Ghost or that your salvation ain't as strong as you say it is. Right. But we
and listen, I'm behind on this squad, but he said I learned something new what he said, but he said they learned to shrink the problem, right? What I realized with most people, bro, even beyond this, is like most people in this world, they are going through what they go through, and they're struggling because they have nobody just to talk to. They have nobody just to vent to, in a sense. And I like, for example, I bring it back to the gym in a sense. I notice a lot of people, the reason they can't train and get their bodies right is not because they don't want to do it or they don't have what's inside of them to do it. It's more so the fact of they just need somebody to help them through it, to talk them through it, to be there for them. Almost like a friend, you know what I'm saying? So to get back on this, whether that's whatever he said, your problems and you smoking or you drinking or whatever it is, it's not that you can't overcome that. It's that you just need help doing it. What I'm basically trying to say, squad, is. So yeah.
Medication, as much as we need therapists, as much as we need coaches and teachers and all those different things, they're all stabilizers. Because if I can take something that can offset and pause within my neurotransmitter, which is basically allowing me to move smoothly through my day to where I'm not having a psychotic breakdown or not having a meltdown, give it to me. Because oftentimes when we're looking at mental health issues, most of them are genetically passed down.
Tell them real quick your background. Tell them how you got here, just in case y'all don't know my man's. And I want you to tell them that real 100.
So, was a free agent in the NFL, got sent home.
Eat.
And
I had a little rice. Nobody, it was so serious. I was waiting for the food.
Eat.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
I want to know your story though.
Yeah.
Just while you talking, I'm gonna get some.
Yeah. So, man, went home and attempted to take my life. So I was a cutter. My dad was a pastor. My parents divorced, and I started cutting at 13. And every time something would happen, I was always cut. And it was funny because well, not funny, but my sister saying, I always wondered what was the marks on your arms when we would come see you in college, because to understand self-harm is that I was allowing myself to cause physical pain to numb the pain that I was dealing with on the inside. And then my second suicide attempt was a drug overdose. That was several years later, which after surviving miraculously, which is how I got into going to therapy, because I stood at the altar a bunch of Sundays, Kurt, and I got prayer, and sometimes deliverance works in an instant, but true healing takes place through the journey of understanding why was I cutting? What was the pain connected to?
Understanding it.
What makes you happy, King?
Man, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. That's refreshing to hear, man. For real, man. Glad you overcame that, man, because one of the greatest gifts God give us is life. And that's one of the main things he's been teaching me with, you know. I think happiness, people trying to seek happiness in the wrong places, it just comes from gratitude. It's about being thankful for what's already around you. And once you start to count that, you know, once you start to dim down the needs and the wants, want for nothing.
Okay, my bad to cut him off, bro. I'm acting like I'm in there right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting in the headspace. But with that being said, I understand what he's saying. It's about being gratitude. But what I want to say is, it's hard to realize what you have to be grateful for if you always had it. So for example, right now, you can take any one of these. Let's say right now you had wealth passed down, right? Your mom had wealth. Your dad was rich. You were born into wealth. You know what being rich feels like versus somebody that had to struggle and work and get it themselves, right? So you're conditioned to it. You're used to it. So it's not going to... See, I'm already throwing myself off, squad. But what I'm trying to say is, you get used to, bro, I ain't gonna lie, my bad, squad, but long story short, I keep saying that it's hard to be grateful for something when you've conditioned yourself to get used to it. That's what I'm trying to say, squad. So for example, if you've always had money, having money ain't gonna feel like nothing to you. You've always been able to get the newest phone. You've always been able to get the newest Jordans, newest clothes. So you don't feel grateful for that because you're so accustomed to it. You're so used to it. Versus if you take someone right now at the projects and you buy them one pair of shoes, they're going to be so grateful for it because they're not used to having it, if that makes sense. But I was going to put that in there. I may not be articulating my words right, but...
Accept and flow with what he's already providing and offering for you. That's when true happiness comes, in my opinion. You know, one of the main things God told me is the greatest gift is life. I relate to that. I tried to take my life before. My daughter, when she was being conceived, she gave me something to live for. So, you know, happiness does come from the
What took you to that point in your life where you felt that space where you tried to even take your own life?
Man, it came to a space to where I had everything I wanted, but nothing I needed. So it was like, you know, everything of my wants, it was reachable. Money, cars, clothes, women, of course, all the things that's in the other side of the promise.
How old are you?
I was around 17. This was like after I had blew up. Around 16, a few months into me blowing up, receiving breakthrough, it started to become a point to where I started to veer a little left. You know what I'm saying? You know, I always relate to the book of Job. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at the end of the day, it was just everything was a testament to faith. But the attacks, you know, they started to increase, but still my faith never changed on, you know, who the ultimate provider was, and that's the Most High God.
How do you guys feel at the table? Has everyone at the table ever had that space outside of Doc and NLE? Have you ever been to that space where you ever thought about suicide as black men?
Me, no.
Yeah, absolutely. I was on suicide watch. Yeah, there were times when I'm recently married, but there were times when me and my girlfriend, me and my fiance, and now me and my wife, there were times when we never spoke about it, but she never left me alone, and I never let myself be alone. Because we had spoken about that, you know, and I put it to her very straight. You know, I just don't want it. You know, you talk about life, you know, I just don't want it. You know, I just don't want.
What brought you to that place?
Isolation, right? Ostracism.
See, I said something like that, Squire, earlier. I don't remember what I said exactly, but I said a lot of people go what they go through because they feel like they by themselves in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, like I said earlier with my gym reference, it's like they just need someone. And I feel like isolation is one of the biggest reasons that people almost feel trapped. People just need someone there, someone to talk to. So I understand when he said he tells his wife he don't want to be alone.
Humiliation, abandonment, you know, and the funny thing about that is that, I mean, we got a doc here, so I've learned that those things and having an event happen to you and getting arrested, or, you know, losing a job, or, you know, having to rejigger, you think that's the thing that gets you, you know, but it's usually, I found for myself, it was something way back, you know, that kind of had my mind in a certain space, you know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, drug overdose, yep.
Wow.
Damn near lived on a roof, you know, just plenty of, I don't even smoke cigarettes. You know what I mean? Plenty of cigarettes and whiskey. You know, I actually wrote a letter. Yeah, I've done the whole thing and been there.
Just the courage you have at this table, though, man. Just the courage.
It's not. It's precious, right? Like, life is precious, and it's deep, but there is a level of, like, I don't really care. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I've reached a point now where it's like, I really want to care. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't care.
But the darkness we have to go through as a black man sometimes to get to that light.
But see, that's the thing you said.
That's what pisses me off.
You said this at the top.
What do you mean?
We as black men have to talk about mental health, right? Like, I agree. But we are all born into a society in which our narrative, right? Our narrative as black men, we're born into a narrative that puts us downhill. Yeah. And then you end up having to pretend that you're somebody that you're not to get through certain doors that I got through, right? You don't get through an Ivy League door. Yeah. You know, behaving a certain way, thinking a certain way, or letting people know you think a certain way. That didn't happen.
See, I can't sit here and necessarily speak on this subject, but I can agree with him is that you have to necessarily, you can't be yourself, you have to conform. Like Squad, I live in Texas, right? And there has been some times with the jobs I've had to get where I've had to almost act like something that I'm not to be able to get a job to get money, right? Basically, like maybe act, almost conform and act country in a way, you know what I'm saying? Or act a different way than I normally am conformed to be able to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Just like you can say people, like for example, I got long hair, right? Somebody might have to cut their hair and change the way they are, even though they're a stand-up dude, just to get a job, conform. When someone could be necessarily an other race and have long hair and get treated, y'all know what I'm trying to say. If you relate and you understand, you understand.
I think as a black man, we have to know we are at war.
And you know,
every day we wake up.
Do you two, as young men, do you feel the pressure as men, or do you feel the pressure as young? Like, is the pressure that you feel being connected as being a black man, or just you just feel it in general?
I don't feel pressure. I feel honored. You know what I'm saying? I feel honored because I'm a firm believer when that pressure is being formed, that's what creates the diamonds. You know what I'm saying?
Have you always been there?
I have not always been there, but I just recently came to that space, and now I understand why I had to go through.
Let me ask you this, NLE. What led you to discovering that it was an honor to feel the pressure?
And I also want to hear from Ray J too, as a young gun too.
Yeah.
What led me to discovering what made me feel it was an honor is because our job as a black man is to go through the obstacles, to be able to uplift the other people that have not overcame the obstacles. And it's still a, you know, it's a war. We win one battle and then we move on to the next. We climb one mountain and then we gotta go to the next.
Yeah.
But service to others is one of the most important things, you know, and even a wise man once said, to piggyback off Jonathan, service to others is what pays our rent in heaven. Heaven can be accomplished right here.
Who's been teaching you? What you been reading? What you been doing? Just because how old are you? 20?
I'm 22.
Yeah.
22.
Me and NLE Chop are the same age, by the way. I just turned 22, bro. Like,
So
recently.
and how do you handle the pressure of life? Do you feel it as a black man having that experience?
The pressures, you know, it's not. It's deep. The industry's deep. It's a fucked up place to be, you know what I'm saying? Because, well, if you playing on the outskirts like us, it's not fucked up because, like he said, when he said, I don't care, like, I really don't give a fuck, right? Excuse me, sorry, you're a man of
You
God.
can be you.
Okay.
Be yourself, King.
Cursed in front of Kirk
King.
Franklin. That's
King.
not okay.
King. Be yourself.
Like,
When did you come?
whoa.
Expired.
Bro, I'm going to hell.
No, you're not
God
going to.
damn it.
No, you're not.
That was crazy.
You're fine. You're fine.
I want to apologize. First off,
Listen to.
I want to apologize to the table.
No.
That wasn't okay.
Right. I have a question for you. When did you get to that place where you no longer care?
I mean, I no longer care when I just like understood like that the manifested is different from trying. You know what I'm saying? And I've never been the type of person I want to go on an audition or sell myself. So I just took the long line, like the line that was like real long. I'd rather take that than to be who I'm not.
I got you.
And it's like I could be squeaky clean and be successful, and I'm real miserable. Like at that point, because you know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like I'd rather be on the outskirts because like you can't really make a mistake if you don't work for nobody.
I get you.
You can only make a mistake in your mind to where you like, fuck, I messed up. And that's God telling you like you did because you feel bad. But if you don't feel bad, then you ain't mess up. If your perception is right, right?
If you're
Like,
conscious of it.
So if you go to war, we go to war. It's all messed up. Kids are dying in every country. So the war is fucked up for everybody, but now you're starting to figure out what's best for the family or the country, right? So you're gonna ride with America or wherever you're from, but it's all still messed up, and it's all still politics, whether it's Democrat, Republican, blood, crip, black, white, like.
And you can only imagine just the kind of pressure that it is being young and famous. And Kev, you are now experiencing a level of fame in your own life that has kind of caught you off guard. When you hear these young, intelligent young black men, who I'm so honored to have at the table, is because we'll never know their level of pain. We'll never know their level of anxiety and stress that they have to deal with, because we didn't have all of this BS and we didn't have all of that where you have to live your whole life in front of people. I mean, how do you process these stress and pressures of trying to manage it all and not losing it?
Yeah, I think it's tough, to be honest. I think Kev on stage is I've been describing it lately as the performative version of Kevin, you know, and I think you think you want something until it starts to happen. Right. And I think one thing that I probably struggle with the most is, like, for a long time I'm creating on the internet and I'm just this guy, you know what I mean? I can make fun of everybody that everybody else is making fun of. And then all of a sudden it's like, now when you say something, this is now somebody's podcast topic, or you're on the Shade Room, or you're trending on TikTok or Twitter or whatever. And I'm like, bro, what? And, you know, when the internet is after you, I think you know it's not the real world and it's not everybody, but for some reason.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right now, squad. I know what he's saying, right? It's like social media, bro, I would say it's 100% not real, right? And it's like an actor, squad. So, for example, somebody that everybody knows is Michael B. Jordan, right? And everybody probably watched the movie Black Panther. You think Michael B. Jordan in his day-to-day life is a villain? You think he acts just like that villain in his day-to-day life? No. But the thing about the internet, fame, and social media, people will judge you off of the character that you are portraying, right? So basically, it's hard for me to even think right now. I be thinking about this stuff, but talking to the camera kind of gets me off, squad. But basically, it is not real. And what he's trying to say is people judge him on the character / the actor / the role that he's playing when it's not truly him. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Feels like everybody. It feels like there was a time I was getting dragged. They were finding every one of my emails. They was like, and I'm just like, bro, you know, just put your phone away. But it's like, it feels like the whole world is like on you.
Same people to see you and shake your hand on and congratulate you.
And then that's the other thing that happened.
I've never seen nor heard the same magnitude of hate that I receive online.
Never.
That's honestly the truth, bro. You will get hated on in line, but IRL, nobody will say nothing disrespectful to your face, squad. That is 100% the truth, bro. Even I've had that happen a little bit.
The few times I've ever been getting dragged online, if I happen to have a show or something and I'm down the street, it's like, oh, Kev, what up, baby?
And I also want to say this, squad. Most times people hate on people online is because they're miserable in their own life. And let me say this, and I can put my right hand up, squad. I have never in my life, and when I mean never, I mean 1000% never. I've never in my life, squad, put a hate comment or put any type of disrespectful comment under someone's post or charge anything on social media. Matter of fact, every time that I watch a video on YouTube, I like it. No matter what, squad. Every single video on YouTube, I like. You know what I'm saying? But to go back to what I'm saying, I understand it's like anybody that hates is miserable in their own life.
It's from you, how the kids, how the wife. So it's like, it's incongruent with how you feel and what you feel like is happening. But I think two things are true. And I think for me, because so much of my job is the internet, it's kind of hard to avoid, you know what I mean? Because that's how I paid my bills, feed my family, blase, blase. But it does start to weigh on you And I don't think that's not a thing that when I worked at the bank, that would never happen. You know what I mean? It's just, I go to work, I do my job, I go home.
Yeah.
That could never happen. But now it's, you know, you start to feel like, I don't know if I don't want to say nothing. I just don't want to be, I don't want to say nothing wrong because whatever I say ends up being wrong.
Doc, I have a question for you, Doc. And I want y'all to also ask each other questions.
I got a question.
Yes. Oh, no, and I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
Just real quick, before we move on, pressure, and then you also said celebrity, famous. I just think one thing we always have to realize is that we're not famous, we are not celebrities. Our anointment comes from a higher power. So once we are anointed, we're supposed to use it in a certain manner. And, you know, we go back to Jesus. He was anointed, but he was crucified in the span of being anointed. People didn't like him.
How old are you?
22. I do feel like once we start to separate the saying famous and celebrity,
But
and
I do
just put
think
in that
that's-
you anointed. Bro.
No, I believe that. But I also think we are celebrities and famous. Like, I don't think, because I rejected that. I'm like, bro, I'm not famous. I'm not no celebrity, bro. I'm just.
And even squad, I'm in the beginning. If y'all go right now, look at my banner on all my social medias, not just my banner. I have just a guy with a camera. You know what I mean? Cause I want to keep it. I'm trying to make it relatable to people, squad. But also at the end of the day, that's all I am, bro. I'm me. That's what I'm trying to say, squad. I'm probably not the best at talking sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just making videos on the internet, bro. I'm not like,
But it's deeper, it's bigger than that, because it's somebody watching you that does not look at you like you just who. When you look in the mirror, you see Kev, you see who you are. But when someone else look at you, they see something that they want to be.
That's why I feel like I'm famous or a celebrity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because those people.
And see, squad, I'm gonna speak on that, squad. So look, I may not even be the biggest creator right now, right? But I tend to overlook even myself, squad, as a new creator. Just the other day, I was walking somewhere and I did one of these videos in the past, basically a public video. And this guy, the guy was just walking through, squad, right? Because I feel normal, right? I was walking through somewhere, squad, and the guy said, "Hey, bro, you don't got one of those hot gummy bears today?" And I just looked at him, confused, squad. And he was like, "You don't got one?" And I just looked at him. He was like, "Nah, I'm just playing, bro," right? And then I had to go back to this place. So I saw him again in a mutual place. And then he told me, he said, "Hey, yeah, dog, you gave one of my friends a hot gummy bear. I ended up watching your videos. I saw you on such and such street doing a video. And, bro, you had me dying, bro. I was rolling. You were hilarious." And I just sat there and looked at him, squad. Because it's like, you're with yourself every day. When I make these videos, squad, I don't even think that I'm reaching people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my perception of me is off. I saw a thing with Michael Beasley. If y'all don't know, he was an NBA player. Some people even say he's one of the best at all time. Michael Beasley said everybody around him, he used a Tiger reference. He said everybody around him thinks he's doing so good. He's great. He's one of the best to ever doing it. Basically putting him in the sense and calling him like a tiger, right, squad? But he said the thing you don't realize is a tiger don't see his stripes. Everybody sees him as a tiger. Gazelle see him as a tiger. Man, we see you doing this, that, and the third. But it's like he doesn't see him the way y'all see him. He doesn't see his own stripes. But I just was yapping, but I like to put in my input and we finna keep going.
Don't know me for me.
But they see God's hands on you. That's
No, for sure.
They see the I think
I'm separating those two.
Yeah,
I think God's hand on my life, plan on my life is one thing.
Yes, sir.
And then the way the world sees me, or you know how I'm perceived, is a separate thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I wanted to ask a question before we got too far. Both of y'all brothers shared, you shared what you almost did and you did not. I'm curious what brought you out of that. Like, how did you? What was your thought process to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to live. You know what I mean? Like, how did you? Because I imagine those things don't just magically go away, and that thought might be in the back of your mind. Like, how do you process? How do you pull out of that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kev. I think for me, NLE and I was talking about it earlier, right? He was talking about how his daughter right, your daughter, right, has given him a reason to live. And I think for me, having a encounter with God after I survived, because most people don't survive the drug overdose. I mean, the stuff that I took, and to, man, some of everything, man. So my football injury was a nerve damage injury that I had to my pudendal nerve down the lower part of my back. It was so damaged that I'm just being vulnerable. I couldn't get an erection at 25 years old.
Wow. That's
You know?
wow.
So
Yes, sir.
so it was either do open back surgery or to try some rehab from a doctor that I met in Houston, who was the only doctor that can help with the nerve damage without surgery. So I was on Vicodin, codeine, I was on all that stuff for the pain. So I fell at practice one day on my tailbone and woke up, it was like temporary paralysis, couldn't move, lower extremity. So I OD'd on all of that along with other painkillers. Like for me, it was the internal pain of just the daddy wounds and all of those different things, in which I've talked about, you know, on stage, is watching a father pastor, but wanting him to be a father to me as his only son. So it's, and that for me was so difficult because my brain at the time was trying to rationalize, how can you speak into them and not speak into me?
Yes.
So the 31-year-old Jay that attempted suicide just wanted daddy to say, son, I got you, and it's okay.
See, Squad, I'm gonna pause with me, Squad. Something about me, like most other black men in this world, I didn't have a father. And oddly enough, everybody's different. That didn't really bother me. Like, for example, I was talking to one of my friends' dads. We had a conversation, and he basically asked, we had a deep conversation, right? And he asked me, he said, does having a father not be in your life, do you care about it? I said, no. And he had his son there, my friend, and he said, he looked at his son and he said, son, I love you, I'm proud of you. And then he asked me, he said, when I tell my son that does that make you feel any type of way? And I told him, I said, no. I said, but like morally, I know that's nice, I know that's respectful, I know that's good. But on a deeper level, I don't feel nothing. That doesn't make me feel sad or anything. And the way I describe it to him is, how can you have feelings for somebody if they were never there? See, let's get deep for a second, right? If my dad was never there, never had a conversation with him, never talked to him, never had any type of communication, only seen like 3 pictures of him in my life. If someone has never been there, how would you have feelings for him or know what it's not like to be there? I may not be articulate saying this correctly, right? And at the same time, Squad, I told him in that moment when he asked me, I told him, I said, I know that not having a dad, there's probably some things that I've missed, but I don't know what they are. Like, let me say it again. I know that by not having a dad in my life, in the household, seeing a 2-parent background, I know there's certain things that I've missed. But what you don't know, you don't know. I don't know necessarily what I missed, but I know I missed something. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back in the video. Y'all probably want to watch the video.
And it was just really, Kev, just really having to reconcile, which took time, that maybe he couldn't give me what he didn't have because it wasn't given to him. Yeah. Because you give what you have. Yeah.
That's beautiful. You understand that, though.
And understanding that, man, was painful because I also had to accept what I was never going to get.
But it gave you peace.
Wow. Well, peace came later. It came later because until you can reconcile that thing, you can't have peace.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it was also how my parents divorced, because football, the helmet was a mask for me. I can put that helmet on and be whoever I want to be. And for 60 minutes, I can just release all the rage, the anger. And I'll never forget my coach.
Too, like,
physically.
Football is very
physical
for it. Hit you and hurt
Hit you, yeah. And I remember my coach asking me, he said, what are you thinking about when you're out there? Kirk, this is no lie. I never saw an opponent's eyes. I always saw my father's face. And,
Jeez.
and for me, that pain drove me. But here's the issue, that when we don't have a place where we can release that pain, we begin to harm ourselves.
I mean, listen, guys.
Okay, so he just said if you don't have a place to release it, see, I guess you can say, basically he's trying to say an outlet, right? And you can say a lot of young men, there's different outlets, there's different vices. A lot of men may be stressed and they may turn towards weed. For example, squad, there's guys in my job right now, here's how I like to describe it. They tell me, man, I'm so stressed with this job, I'm tired of it, I can't wait till I can get out of work and smoke this blunt. There's other guys in my job, all older than me, like 30, and they tell me, man, I'm so tired, I'm tired of this, our supervisor, I can't wait till I can go off and go home and take me a couple shots and sit down and relax. You know what I'm saying? But me, squad, I've always been different. My mindset is, I can't wait till I can leave this job and go work out, go run, go be active to release my stress. So I will sit here and say, squad, having an outlet is important, but having a positive, good outlet is important. But let me press play.
There's a lot going on right now at this table. I got a lot going through my head right now.
Give us some.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because I mean, yeah, like I found my wife in my lowest moment of all time. You know what I mean? I found my wife, and that's awesome. Like,
She's an amazing woman.
she is an amazing. That's what we do at the house when we start feeling good about being married. You just yeah. So I found my soulmate. You know, I found my queen. You know, in that moment, we found each other rather. I'm just gonna move through it really quick, but I got something to say, right? So it's like this. So in that space, like I hear you, young brother. Like I hear you. You know what I mean? I really do. And I hear you too, Kev. But in that dark space, like nothing. Like sorry, like bad news, Kurt. Like nothing's getting you out. Nothing's getting you. Like, and I want to talk about that. Oh, my babies. Oh, my career. Oh, my life. Oh, my, no, that's horse shit. That's horse shit. If it wasn't, if you had something to hold on to, you wouldn't be in that space.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My baby girl wasn't gonna get me out. My mama told me I can't get you out.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Megan couldn't get me out.
And your mama preaching.
My mama preacher.
And your mama
you know what I mean? Like,
preacher.
I want to talk about that. Like we can talk about like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I feel like let's cut the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, out of a dark place, right? Like.
I disagree. I disagree.
Well, respect, young brother.
The road leads back to two. No man, no woman, no kid, no pet can, but God can. The road leads back to two. And my thing, but my thing is though, my thing is this: if we understand and connect, man, listen. I just sat down for 3 to 4 months. I took a break. I could have made $4, $5, $6, $10 million. I left it all on a plate to sit down because something in my spirit wasn't right. I sat down. I had to go back home. Got grounded. Stayed in my hometown, the most dangerous city that people crucify. Stayed there, planted my feet there, and went into 112 day seek. Every day I woke up, I went outside with my notebook and I sat my feet in my grass and I stood before a tree and in nature and I just listened. And I wrote down everything. I jotted it. I got a journal. I got 4 or 5 journals stacked over 3 or 4 months. It's like a Bible. The Most High God fed to me every day, every second. When I woke up, He'll wake me out of my sleep. He gave me dreams, people that I needed to get away from me, snakes, rats, whomever. He put everything under a microscope in my life.
Watch this. There are times when I can say that my walk with God, NLE, has not been enough. And it was hard for me to admit that. There's going to be these views that are not black and white views, But these are our perspectives.
Yeah, but I think
there's so many brothers who find themselves, and I am one of them. You know what I mean? Who find themselves in situations and they're hearing in the back of their head, oh, but your baby, oh, but God, oh, but.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's that moment where you look for it, right? And it's not there, and then you jump.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be very careful, famous celebrity people, right? Putting rules down, telling folks this is how it goes. No. That is dysfunctional.
So
right?
let me
The
say that
same way they say black men should behave a certain way. That's like saying a Christian should behave a certain way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not. It's not fair, right? It's not fair, and it puts that individual in a place where they have no escape.
Why don't you speak to that, Don?
I like how you were transparent, Kirk, because as a son of a pastor, and you're so on point. And I think what Jonathan is saying is you are right. Yeah. It leads back to two. Yeah. However, man, there are moments that crushes you, man.
Never discredited that.
And they're so crushing that me and him was talking earlier, and I related because what he went through, it's like this, Kirk. You know this. There's something, man, the agony behind dealing with a private matter in a public arena.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is crushing that this should stay private, but now it's public. You could have called me, and now you had to make that post about, yo, Kev, this. Yeah. And I think for us as black men, to what you're saying, Jay, is we can't package it and frame it in this manner because, man, life is so nuanced.
It is nuanced.
And
yes,
man,
it is.
you'll get into a place.
Yes.
And we were talking, because I went through what he went through in 2018 with the young lady I was dating. And I watched people get on social media, and I'm like, it's not true, but I couldn't say anything. And I'm saying, God, where are you now? Mm-hmm. Right? It was like a Job moment, because you're like, why is this happening to me?
But my thing is why I said to roll these back to two, all of these obstacles is for you to strengthen the relationship. That's all I'm saying. So if it's a misunderstanding there, I'm not saying, hold on 1 second.
I do want to say this, squad. I do kind of agree what he's saying with it. I mean, I do agree what he's saying with it in a sense. It's like, I talked to somebody and I asked him, he's older than me, squad. He's like a 35-year-old man. I asked him, I said, do you believe everything happens for a reason? And he told me no. But I told him, I said, man, I think my bad, squad. I'm getting over here, getting off my camera overheating. I'm trying to keep looking at it, right? But I basically told him, squad, in my opinion, I feel like everything does happen for a reason. Because God either puts something in your life to strengthen you. It's either a blessing or a lesson. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And, bro, I ain't gonna lie, my bad, squad. I can't even articulate, bro. Let me just play it.
Oh, you okay?
No, I'm over good. Yeah. I know it's no rule. I'm not saying it's a set rule on how to be this or how to be that, because one thing me and Kirk is a firm believer of is no man of perfection. It's only a man of progress. Right. My thing is the things that I went through, same thing you went through, same thing you went through, same thing you going through, same thing you go through, same thing. No matter what age or none of that shit. It's all built to create the foundation of your relationship with the Most High. That's why I said the road leads back to two.
And I think what Jonathan is saying is that in that moment, you can't discern or decipher that. Right, it will lead.
In that moment, you can't.
No.
But if you keep
I want to say something real quick. I want to say something real quick.
Make that connection there.
Okay, look, squad. Basically, what I was trying to say earlier is like, I do believe that God puts obstacles in our life to basically help us, right? So, for example, how do I put this, right? Let me just play it, squad. My bad. My brain's going blank.
I think I'm a church kid, and I'm 42 now. So, and I'm a church kid in the sense of like, there was nothing else. It is just Jesus. There's no medicine. There's no therapy. There's no divorce. Somehow, if your husband's beating you, God's gonna, like, everything is God's gonna do it. God's got a plan, right? That's all you.
Hey, squad, I'm gonna pause this right here, and this is gonna be part 1, and then I'm gonna make a part 2, charge my camera, So yeah, squad part 2. Yeah,